So, have you ever wondered what it takes to see a financial crash coming when literally no one else does? Well, today, we're diving into the incredible story of Paul Tudor Jones, a legendary trader who didn't just survive one of Wall Street's darkest days, he absolutely mastered it. All right, to really get this, we have to start right in the thick of it. We're going to the single most critical moment of his career, a day that would completely redefine the markets as we know them. You've got to remember this date, October 19th, 1987. It's forever known as Black Monday, and for good reason. It's a day that's just burned into the memory of every single trader out there. So picture this. It is pre-dawn in Manhattan. The city is still asleep, but inside Paul Tudor Jones's office, it's a different world. There's this eerie silence, but a wall of trading screens is glowing this awful, angry red. You see, the markets in Asia and Europe were already in a total nosedive. As full-blown panic started to spread like wildfire across the globe, Paul Tudor Jones was calm, centered, totally ready. You know why? He'd been preparing for this exact moment for months. He'd already seen the pattern. I mean, the contrast is just insane. On one side, you've got the entire world losing its mind, futures are collapsing, and billions of dollars are just vanishing into thin air. And on the other side, you have one guy, calm, centered, and completely prepared, executing his plan with surgical precision. This was no lucky guess. This was a philosophy in action.
So that's the billion-dollar question, right? How in the world did he know a storm of this size was about to hit? Well, the answer isn't in some crystal ball. It's in a lifetime of preparation.
And to understand that calm he had during the storm, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Because you see, long before he was a trader, he was a fighter. Growing up in Memphis, Jones wasn't your typical bookworm. Sure, his dad was a newspaper publisher, so he was always around stories, information, patterns. But his real passion, that was found in the boxing ring. That's where he learned about timing, about courage, and most importantly, how to read an opponent's fear. Even at the University of Virginia, where he got an economics degree, there was this split. Yeah, he understood the textbooks and the equations, but he loved the competition more. The instincts he was sharpening in the ring, anticipating the next move, managing risk, that stuff would become way more valuable than anything he ever read. His first real taste of Wall Street came from his mentor, a legendary cotton trader named Eli Tullis. And this wasn't some quiet office with keyboards. No way. This was the trading pit, a loud, physical, chaotic arena. And it's there he realized that price moves aren't just numbers on a screen. They're the heartbeat of human emotion. But he almost threw it all away. After a late night out partying, he overslept, missed a huge market open, and Tullis fired him. Just like that, on the spot. All he was left with was an empty desk and this deafening silence, where all that chaos used to be. That single moment of failure, it taught him everything. He realized right then and there that talent means nothing without discipline. That painful lesson became the absolute bedrock of his entire career. So that hard lesson became the cornerstone for his own firm, Tudor Investment Corporation. It's where he created these simple but incredibly powerful rules that would eventually make him a legend. When he launched his own firm, he did it with a set of rules that were totally non-negotiable. They were like commandments. Cut losers fast wasn't about admitting you were wrong, it was about survival. Never average down. That was his defense against ego. And price is the truth meant you ignore all the noise, all the opinions, and just focus on what the market is actually doing. And this became his most famous mantra. It's such a blunt warning against the most dangerous emotion in trading, your own ego. He believed that adding more money to a bad trade is just doubling down on a mistake. You have to accept you're wrong, and you have to do it fast. Okay, so this brings us right back to the crash. In the middle of this roaring bull market of the 1980s, when everyone was making money hand over fist, his top analyst, a guy named Peter Borish, made a pretty terrifying discovery. He was overlaying historical market charts. And there it was. The chart for 1987, a market everyone thought was unstoppable, was an almost perfect carbon copy of the market right before the catastrophic 1929 crash. The psychology was identical. This unchecked euphoria, massive amounts of debt. History wasn't just rhyming. It was repeating itself, note for note. A collapse wasn't just possible, it was coming. So when Black Monday finally hit, all that preparation paid off in a huge way. As the rest of the world was panicking, he was like that boxer, delivering every punch at the perfect moment. His fund reportedly gained an unbelievable 200% for the year. It was one of the single greatest trades in the history of Wall Street. But this story doesn't end in 1987. That massive success didn't make him arrogant. Actually, it did the opposite. It cemented a philosophy of humility, of discipline, and of constant learning that he would practice for the rest of his life. Jones has always said that trading is 70% psychology and only 30% strategy. Think about that. He believes the real game is mastering your own emotions, your fear, your greed, your ego. The market is just a giant mirror that will show you your flaws instantly. And he applied that same intense precision to his philanthropy. He started the Robin Hood Foundation, which attacks poverty in New York City not just with good intentions, but with a data-driven portfolio-style approach. They measure everything to make sure every single dollar has the biggest possible impact. If there's one core lesson to take from him for any competitive field, it's this. Whatever worked yesterday might completely fail tomorrow. The market, just like life, is always, always changing. Your survival and your success depends entirely on your ability to adapt with it. So, when you look at a life spent navigating all this chaos and opportunity, what's the real secret? What's the takeaway? How do you achieve that kind of mastery? Maybe it's this simple. Paul Tudor Jones's legacy is this powerful reminder that mastery isn't some destination you arrive at. It's a daily practice. It's preparation, it's humility, and it's discipline. The answers are always there, in the patterns, in the prices. All you have to do is